Hi, welcome to No Doctor, Just Healthy. This is a long video. I don't know how long, but it'll be more than 30 seconds, not as short. But I am glad you're here, and um, I understand that I'm not like a movie star or a guru. I've often said I am not a guru. These people on the internet that seem to be able to tear down one typical thing just all the way down, what it all is. I'm not doing that. And because I'm very forgetful. So, like, if I start telling you about something really important, I might skip the most important part because my brain memory works like an old record player. Of course, maybe a lot of you haven't had one of those, but a record player, if you bump the table that it's sitting on, will skip a track. And that's kind of the way my brain does it. I just go along and I don't even think I missed anything. But so I don't try to do the I try to get you to look stuff up. And I want you to know that you can learn about stuff. And after you read something enough, you'll start realizing when you're reading BS and not, or not, you'll start recognizing, oh, no, 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 this is the way it works, not the way this person says it is. And I just try to be good at it. And can you see me okay? Because I'm wearing camouflage. Okay. I, I can't help but be a little humorous or attempt to be humorous sometimes. But anyways, um, no doctor, just healthy. If you have anybody that is not well or they just feel dumpy, you see them walking along and they're shuffling their feet and they can't keep up to you when you're walking, and it didn't used to be that way. They're the people that need to tune in, or everybody needs to tune in, really. But the thing is, let's say you're 50 and you don't feel like you see as good. Now, that happened to me, and when I mentioned it to my doctor, she said, "Well, you're getting older. Those kind of things happen." Man, I got so tired of hearing that. And the thing was that I lost my night vision. I'd say almost completely. Like, I couldn't walk into a room that didn't have the lights on because it was pitch black in there, even if it was light outside and there was light behind me. It wasn't enough light to let me see in the room. It's not like that anymore. Let's see now. I'm 8 years older than when it was like that, and now I drive at night with no problem. I don't have a problem, and I'm older. How the heck does that work? And she doesn't know. So, anyways, I can tell you. I mean, just basically, you know, through time, you've heard how different foods get demonized by the powers that can demonize things. Well, remember when they said butter was no good? Now that's right now. Butter's a hot topic. It's a great topic. It's full of good nutrition, and you can live on butter all day if you want to. And matter of fact, I'll often recommend, if it's getting late in the afternoon, you don't want to eat before you go to bed, like 2 3 hours before bed. And I know there's a lot of people sitting on the couch finishing their last bowl of ice cream before they go to bed. Don't do that. That sugar is killing you. That's really bad stuff. Just imagine it sitting in your veins and arteries, getting hard and clogging up your blood flow and shutting off everything. Heart attack. And we have more heart attacks now than we had like in 1950. And anyways, per capita. I mean, that's not like because we have so many more people. No, we got sick people because of the way we've been living. But anyways, right now there's been some events going on, and I get some people that are really jittery about stuff. Well, you can take care of your nutrition and help with some of that, but read up about the vitamin B's. And like, if you want an extra boost, this stuff called ashwagandha is a real calming thing. I mean, it can help people sleep and stuff. It's not a sleeping pill. It doesn't make you dopey. It makes you comfortable. And like if you just can't sit down, if you're sitting in a chair and your foot's bouncing up and down, and you're up and moving to another chair and you can't relax, this takes that away. But so does this. If you quit eating this, you need to quit completely, and you will just chill out. You'll be as cool as me. And I'm sorry, but I try. And I I made a comment the other day that I was going to lose 30 pounds by my birthday next month. I've already lost one. but I'm getting back on my eating regimen really good because I've been cheating on it, and it's so hard to do this because it's addictive, totally addictive. And so I'm going to do it by April 22nd. I'm going to weigh 30 pounds less than I weighed yesterday, or less than I weighed Friday. So we'll see. We'll see. And I know I'll feel better. I don't want to go back down to where I was. And I know my food program works. The way I eat is I went from 270 pounds and fallen down and lazy. I had to get help almost getting out of a couch. Getting out of a couch. Did you hear how I said that? I used to have to roll over while I'm sitting in it, get my knees on the floor. And then I'd start pushing my body up at the same time I was trying to get my legs underneath me. And then I would stand up and then I would walk off, uh, wobble off. I mean, that was at 270 pounds. I was awful. They just, and it took about a year. I shouldn't say that because I'm not sure if it was a whole year or if it was a little over a year. I'm not sure. But I went from 270 to 185. And I felt really magnificent. But I must not have looked right because people kept asking me if I was okay. And when people lose a lot of weight, that sometimes that's what's going on. They're really sick. Well, I started realizing that also I was a senior, and we have to watch our muscles too. And lucky for me, at that time, I wasn't able to drive. So instead of driving all over the place, I was walking, or I stepped up to a electric unicycle, and that thing is great. I don't have it in my car today, but I still carry it around with me, and I still ride it when I get to a little town, and I'll just take the thing out and ride around the town. Of course, everybody wants to talk about it. And they say, "How am I afraid of falling down?" I said, "Well, I've dealt with gravity my whole life. It kind of they go, oh, I can't be afraid of gravity, can I? But I'm cautious of it. There's no doubt. It's a hard thing to ride, and people fall, and a lot. And sometimes people aren't good fallers. I happen to be a good faller, and I've got magnificent bone structure. And the doctor, we're checking me out for spine. I got hit with a helicopter blade in the back there, exploded and messed up stuff. And it just knocked me. I didn't even fall down. I lost the strength in my knees, and I just drooped down a little bit, and then I caught myself and I stood back up, and I walked around kind of hurt. My back was hurt for a while, and I get a pain back there sometimes. So the VA wanted to check my bone density, so they checked it one year, and they said, "Well, your bone density is good at your age. You're doing good." And I went back probably a little over a year later, and they checked it again. And the doctor that did the first one was there, and he said, "Like, come here." He wanted to get me out of the waiting room, away from the crowd, and he said, "Guys your age don't improve their bone density generally, and your bone density is improved over the good that it already was. It's much better. So your bone density is solid." And I said, "Ah, good." And he didn't ask what I did, but I take vitamin K2. That's one thing. Vitamin K2 is a vitamin that kind of manages your calcium. The stuff, instead of letting it grow in your veins and plug you up, it directs it to the bone where it belongs. And it's just a vitamin. And it's just a simple vitamin. But if you and it takes a while for it to work, of course, but it starts working as soon as you start taking it. But it takes day after day after day. You just got to take it. I've been taking it for a half a dozen years, and my veins are good. And that's actually what I was thinking about today. Mostly was that I don't have an endothelium problem. My veins aren't hardening. Um, my my blood pressure is just slightly elevated, and it doesn't need any assistance. It's okay. And if I lose some of this weight, it'll definitely drop down. And like when you check my blood, my triglycerides are like very low. That one doctor I was saying, she always used to tell me things happen because I get older. In 4 months, the difference between the day that she told me I was type 2 diabetic, I keep running over the same thing a lot. And I do it a lot because there's so many people out there that are like me. And I want you all to fix it because you don't have to suffer. I want to get old, but I don't want to be sick old. I want to be healthy old. And I'm I'm going to be 79 next month. I'm kind of jumping the gun. I'm 78 and 3/4, but like a kid. But the K2 really works. Now you just got to make sure your brand is good and all that, and you can mix it with D3 if you want to, and which is if you live anywhere north of Florida or you don't run around outside in your bathing suit, you need vitamin D. You need a boost. You need it, and if you read about it, just ask your computer. Computer, uh, tell me the side effects of low vitamin D, and just let it tell you, or then read about it. Like Lifeline is when Healthline is a group that I like to read. I don't like to. I read the main hospitals, but I don't. I don't trust them. I want to see what they think is important because they're getting modified right now. All the medical care at that level is getting modified, and I'm glad we're because we're getting so sick. Do you realize how expensive uh, healthcare has gotten? Well, what happens if you had less than half as many illness incidents, half as many? Not just you, but 8 billion people. 8 billion people. I go to the doctor once a year. Generally, it's only once a year. And how about people that you see getting picked up by Uber to go to the hospital, and then they go again and they go again. Don't wait to get that sick. Start now. Fix it, and you can fix it. All you got to do is ask your internet. How do I calm my nerves? Well, you might make sure your vitamin B's are up to order. And one of the great things about vitamin B is you can go to your grocery store and buy nutritional yeast. It's in the baking area. Nutritional yeast. It almost looks like oatmeal inside, but it's not. It's something else. But get the one that isn't fortified, the one that's got real vitamins in it. The fortified one means that they can pour anything in there they want, call it a vitamin. But non-fortified is what you want. And you can take 1 tablespoon and just throw it on top of some food that you're cooking, and it'll just blend in. It doesn't taste weird or nothing, and you get some power out of it. You'll feel it. I mean, you can feel it. I don't know. I know I respond to it really fast, and uh, I mean that day, maybe the next day or the next dose. But and I don't dose every day on all that stuff because I take so much stuff. I don't have to. I feel great, but I use ashwagandha in the afternoons because uh, I've got PTSD, and sometimes I get really on edge, and I just have to say, well, all right, just chill out, and I'll just take the ashwagandha. It's no problem. I can just go to sleep, and it's just enough aid sleeping to be the difference between a nightmare and a dream. There's a fine line between scary and not scary. There's a fine line between it, and it almost doesn't take anything for me to stop the dream part. And uh, and that's the way when you tell people look it up, you can run it on your search engine slash YouTube, and it could be one word. I've seen that it works with just one word. No doctor, just healthy. Adds just one word. It connects, and it might be hard to find me because I just don't have as many videos as other, and I don't have as many subscribers. I wish you'd subscribe because I just need a little. I want to know that I'm getting out to people because there's so many of us that are sick that don't have to be. It's not because you're getting older. It's probably more like you're probably deficient in something, or you've been deficient in it a long time. Like, well, vitamin D is a big one, but it adds up. It adds up. Sometimes you need hyaluronic acid in your bones, in your joints, to make them feel flexible. So, do what you can do to do what you can do. So I guess I'm going to knock this off before I wear out everybody. But um, I can't think of anything else that I had to do today. But this is a really common improvement that people can make without being weirded out about eating supplements because this is food. This is just food. Just happens to be loaded with vitamin B. And sometimes you got to add on vitamin B1 or vitamin B12 because it just read about it. Read what they got. See what they got. And thanks for being here. And have a great rest of your week. Okay. Be well.